Dissociative identity disorder was formerly called multiple personality disorder. It often goes unnoticed among the general population. Those who suffer from this disorder lead a terrifying and disturbed life. Dissociative Identity Disorder Awareness Day, which is observed each year in March, aims to spread awareness of this disorder's existence and create understanding and compassion towards the people who are going through it. At MediCircle, we're conducting an exclusive series on the occasion of dissociative identity disorder so that the people are able to understand what the disorder is directly from the experts. Hi, this is Sana Khan, and today in this initiative, we're going to speak to Dr. Shireen Khan Bajpai. Dr. Shireen Khan Bajpai is a psychologist and a counselor at Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research in Bhopal. She has previously worked with prestigious institutes like National Institute of Fashion Technology, Delhi Public School, CT Group of Institutes, and Jawaharlal Nehru Cancer Hospital and Research Center. Hi, Dr. Shireen. Welcome to MediCircle.
Hi, Sana. Thank you so much for having me in this interview series.
It's our pleasure. Okay, so Dr. Shireen, we would like to start with a question that what must a person do to heal himself from dissociative identity disorder?
Okay, so Sana, this particular disorder, dissociative identity disorder, has been has served as quite a plot for many films and TV series and web series because of the intriguing nature it has. Mm-hmm. And sadly, due to this, many a times, a lot of stigma is attached to this particular disorder because people have portrayed it in a very wrong manner, mostly in thrillers, crime series and crime thrillers. So dissociative personality disorder or multiple personality disorder or split personality, as they say, it's basically a very severe kind of dissociation. And dissociation is basically a way of coping mechanism.
Okay.
All of us who experience anxiety, trauma, or say any kind of unpleasant experience, we as human beings, we tend to cope with it. Now, dissociation is a kind of coping mechanism, but the thing is, it's not a very healthy coping mechanism.
Okay.
So the person experiences a kind of dissociation. You can say a loss of connection with their identity, with their thoughts and feelings, and especially tries to keep himself away from the painful, bad memory, unpleasant experience.
Right. Okay.
So a person who is experiencing such a thing or has been diagnosed with this dissociative identity disorder, first and foremost thing, if anyone is experiencing such a dissociation or loss of connection, first and foremost thing should be go and seek psychiatric or psychological help. Go and meet a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Okay.
That's the first and foremost thing. That will give you a lot of knowledge about this particular disorder. Second thing, it's always good to have to build up a knowledge of whatever you are experiencing, not just with this disorder, be it any kind of sadness or anxiety. It's always good to build your knowledge related to that particular experience. So I do not tell my patients or my clients to Google about the symptoms. That's not a very good thing, because it will lead to many other problems. So it's always good to ask your therapist, ask your doctor to provide you some reading material to explain you what this disorder is and what can be done to manage this particular thing. So this is the number one thing a person can do, as you asked, to heal himself. Number two, learn to adopt some good coping mechanisms. A person who is experiencing such things may in the first place may not even know what this experience is all about. In fact, when a person is not really, I mean, when the diagnosis has not been done, they sometimes feel that there was an unexplained time loss, or they report of amnesia because they are simply unable to understand what they have gone through.
Right.
So in order to cope with this thing, a lot of people depend on substances. So it's a very unhealthy way. Do not try to use any kind of substance like alcohol, weed, or any kind of addictive substance. It's not a very good coping way, not a very healthy one. Then apart from this thing, learn to adopt some good coping mechanisms, like build a support system. Talk to your friends and let your family and friends know about it.
Right.
Do not this way you will spare yourself with that embarrassment and shame which is associated with these things.
Correct.
Right? Then apart from this, you can practice daily relaxation. These are some of the things. Even if we do not have any kind of problem, we can always practice, we can always inculcate these things in our children as well, right? So for example, diabetes is a lifestyle disease where a person does not has to wait that the sugar level has to go down or go up, and then only they will take some measures.
Right.
On a daily basis, they have to take care of their diet. They have to live. They have to practice good lifestyle habits. Similarly, we can all practice relaxation techniques, be it breathing techniques, be it yoga, meditation, whatever works for you.
Right.
That. Then creating a daily schedule, keeping yourself busy is a really good way. Try to avoid the triggers if you are able to recognize what the triggers are. A particular place, a smell, a person, anything can bring back these bad memories and then the traumatic experience. So it's always good to recognize and identify the triggers, and then you can learn to avoid these triggers as much as possible, and build a support system that would really help you. So these things are not perfect substitute for treatment. These can effectively help you in if managing the things. Yeah, right. But
Help
of course, the first thing first is, yes, seek help, professional.
Right.
That's the main.
Okay, Dr. Shireen, are there any specific behaviors that we should try to inculcate in our children's personalities to prevent occurrence of this disorder?
That's really a good question, Sana, because nowadays we see children, we are leaving children with the internet, with the mobile phones, and we try to how can I put it? Somewhere we are not really letting them know what character should be built. It should come from us, basically. So it is always good to be a good role model first. Whatever we are telling them first, we should try to bring
the change in ourselves.
Practice those.
Right.
That we should bring that change in ourselves, right? As you said. Apart from this, yes, children should be taught how to control their emotions. If they are experiencing anything unpleasant, tell them that it's a part of life, but then they should also know how to control those emotions. And we should also let them know that the emotions are part of us, our personality. Emotions are not us. There is a difference. I am unhappy and I am feeling unhappy. There is a lot of difference in this.
Right.
And yes, of course, apart from that, we can also teach them to reframe thinking. Many times I deal with a lot of teenage age group and adolescents.
Okay.
So many times they report, they say that they are not able to control their thoughts. A lot of overthinking, they say that it is happening. So no, thinking is very much within our control, and we should learn to stop those ruminating ideas going on in our head. So reframing the way we think. If someone has been upset and is quite feeling helpless or hopeless about a particular situation, we can tell our children, we can teach them how to reframe these ideas. Do
Right.
not just give up saying, I cannot do anything. Instead of that, try to reframe it. This is the problem. These are the solutions. These are the best possible solutions. Right now, I'm feeling so, but in future, I can try these things.
Right.
So, reframing, to reframe our ideas, our thoughts is a very important thing that really goes a long way in dealing with anxiety, with depression, with unexplained sadness. So these things we can take care, we can inculcate in our children.
Can a person suffering from this disorder harm any other person?
Okay, so as I said, dissociative personality identity disorder serves as a good plot for thrillers and crime series and all that. So I think because of this thing, a lot of stigma and a lot of misconceptions are made because of this particular thing. So it's a kind of myth or a misconception that a person who is having split personality is dangerous and violent. So there are very little documented records of a person experiencing this disorder being violent. So all I can say is it's like the person is no more likely to be violent than anyone else.
Right.
So the switch or the alter ego is evil. It's basically a misconception. No, it's not like that. The other personality can be, it's an alternate state of personality. It can be more confident, more outgoing, more social, more assertive. That can happen, but not really dangerous or violent. There is very little documented.
Right. Okay.
But of course, it's always good to talk to a mental health professional to get an accurate information about this particular disorder. Yeah.
That might depend on person to person, what the level of disorder it is. The therapist might be able to inform better.
And the kind of trauma a person has gone through.
Right, true.
That also depends on this.
True, correct. Okay, Dr. Shireen, what can family members or friends of patients suffering from this disorder do to keep situations under control?
So Sana, its treatment involves revisiting the painful experience.
Okay.
Bringing up the past unpleasant memory.
Right.
And this may upset the family member or the friends associated with this person who is experiencing DID. So it's always good, the person who's taking care of such a person, try to focus on the things that you can control, but not on the things which you cannot control. You cannot control the behavior of the other person, but you can definitely control your own reaction and response.
Right.
So it's always good to be level-headed. Do not react, rather than give a response. Be patient, of course. Practice calmness. Be calm during the switches. This switch, the personality change which happens, mostly it happens very slowly and in a very subtle manner. It doesn't happen very suddenly. जो हम movies में देखते हैं that lot of headache a person is experiencing and suddenly हुआ, ऐसा नहीं होता है. It happens subtly. So you can help the person by recognizing and identifying the triggers. Ask the person directly, what are the triggers? What really triggers this particular state? It's always good to ask the person directly.
Discussing or talking about the incidents might help with the patient, right?
Especially the person who will be around this person or the patient, it's good to have knowledge about the trigger.
Right.
Then it can be anything, like, as I said, a place, a smell, a person. It can be anything. So you can help the person in avoiding that trigger.
Right.
So that's why it's important to talk to the patient himself or herself. And your job is to find out this trigger and help him in avoiding it. And of course, being level-headed. And it can take a toll on your mental health as well. So it's always good that you
True.
seek out help. Yeah, you can talk about your own experience. So there is the particular term called caregiver. Caregiver are these people who remain with the person who is experiencing such a thing. So caregiver, burnout, caregivers can experience a lot of burnout, stress while taking care of such a person. So you should seek help and talk to a therapist or a doctor and try to build your information, what all you can do.
Right.
Tell the person that you love and care for them.
Okay.
That's very important. Some things are we consider that it's unsaid. ये तो है, इसमें बताने की क्या बात है? No.
Very true. That happens.
Tell your children that you love them. Yes. वो ये शायद बोलना बहुत बार-बार बताना बहुत जरूरी है. Tell your friends that you love them, to care for them, and that you are there to extend your support.
An expression.
So that's how the confidence is built up. Yes.
Expressions are very important to
Yes.
heal, right? Yes.
Absolutely correct. Expressions are very important.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Shireen, for coming to our show and sharing your valuable time and insights with us. It has been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Sana. The pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.